All right, all right, all right. So figured I just started off with what's this game? Yeah, Warhammer Battle Sector. There we go. Nice slow pace.
We're the sons of Sanguinius.
Oh, it doesn't
We
tell
fight
me
and we die for the Imperium.
what my point limit is.
It is regrettable that Brother Eituro presented himself
Oh,
in a
it's
position of
700.
weakness.
Damn.
That
Because I
is
think if you
far
take
different
somebody
than how the
away,
Blood Angel
it'll
is typically
still.
introduced to the sanguinary priesthood. I must hope the
How
first
many?
impression is not lasting on these Primaris. In fairness, Brother Eituro's disregard of our new brothers
70,
does himself no
135.
justice either.
Damn.
He
So I spit
overlooks
the
their
ball on that.
potential.
All
He
right.
sees only that
Whatever.
grown test
Was it
subjects with no
70 for these
worldly
dudes?
experience.
So
We're
I
the
can add one
sons
more.
I understand the root of the priest's
Fine. Let's do it
skepticism.
like that. We're
The
doing it.
century ago,
Let's roll. But let's see. Yeah, the description is sparse on this one because I don't know. I didn't feel like it, and also wasn't gonna just go out. I don't know.
These
Last
scattered
weekend didn't do a
remains have
stream.
little left,
Super
Sulikara.
tired. I'm getting used
I
to
doubt there is much
my
here
different
we can
workout
harvest.
routine and
this is
stuff that
more
I'm
than
doing.
mere
And
execution.
yeah, I'm kind of old,
The
so it
alien
kind
will
of
suffer for this butchery.
kicks my ass. And plus, I realize that I'm not good at resting, like at all. I don't know what's up with that, but holy shit. Like I literally, because I realized I didn't have a rest day because I was always throwing something at it, so I made a different rest day. And like literally, I just got back from the gym not too long ago, and I think I was in that motherfucker for like 3 hours. I didn't even I didn't even realize it because I was just going. And so what had happened, what I did was since I broke up, since the big day would be Sunday, that would be the big day. You know what I mean? Like I'll go ahead and I'd wake up, get breakfast ready, stretch, download the TFM show because it's like long as hell, so I could just play it while I'm working out. And yeah, that workout would be long as hell. And so what I've actually found out I did is I've basically distributed parts of those different workouts, like the ones I guess that were the most important to me, on different days. And then somehow I've changed Saturday to that. And then I'm like, I got this weird feeling that I'm probably not gonna let myself rest tomorrow. And I'm gonna find like, oh well, you could just get in one of these and it'll be fine. And I'm like, I don't think it'll be fine. And like one of my fucking limbs or something just stopped working right, or I don't know, some tissue snaps. How about we chill the fuck out? And I get where a lot of it comes from. It's one of those things where it's like, hey, if I don't do this, I'll never get the chance, and all this other shit. And I'm old, and I'm dying, da da da. And I think it's one of the things where it fades with time. And I know that seems weird because, like, hey, as you get older, you're having less time, but also you end up calming down more. There's a lot of things that, and I don't think this has to do with age. It actually has to do with the person and the individual. You kind of get an understanding of what's possibilities and what's not. How you'd actually like to spend whatever time you have left, like whatever good days you might have left. And instead of this frantic chase, like a lot of old people, like I saw this one old dude, he didn't like it when I pointed out because what I was pointing out is fuck the carrot on the stick. Like like a lot, like some young men, they're catching on. They're picking up what's being laid down, and they're realizing, hey, you're waving this thing in front of my face. You're saying like, hey, here's this reward for all this stuff, but actually there's nothing there. That carrot is covered in shit. So you're pulling my leg. You're leading me on. You're playing me. Whatever lingo, whatever generation you're from, whatever. And at that point, that threatens the status quo because for me to have things a certain way, I need people underneath me chasing after that goal. Otherwise, the worth becomes nil. Which it is what it is. You know what I mean? I'm from the school of thought where I'm not gonna try to change. Look, if I could not be part of your shit, that's cool. I'm not gonna try to change your way of thinking or whatever, but you do need to understand that there's no way in hell I'm saying that if I have the power to stop you, I won't. Because if you're actively getting in the way of me living some type of meaningful life, oh hell yeah. What? I won't hesitate. It's your best bet to put me the fuck down. But if I don't have any power and I can't do anything, it's like, yeah, fuck it. Who cares? It's like, oh man, you can't talk like that. You can't just tell the truth. It's like, all right, I guess. I mean, talking to these anonymous one or two people, shut up. Like, it doesn't matter. But yeah, that's, again, like, life is about self interest. Is it about self interest or is it just a part of life? It's pretty much a part of existing as a human. You operate on self interest. So essentially, being aware of your self interest. Here's the thing. This is why I get pissed off at, but I can't. I have to let go. This is a part of myself that I realize that I'm having a conflict with because I'm annoyed by people. They look at everything through a moral lens. Everything is about moral this, moral that, moral this, moral that. Right? And I'm like, all right, that is kind of fucking annoying. I don't know why you do that. Which I probably need to realize I'm the odd duck because I'm like, hey, maybe we should look at it more on a results base. You know what I mean? We should look at what we get from it. You know what I mean? Have more of a like. I know it's not possible to be 100% logical when you analyze something, but getting a little closer would be a little better, in my opinion. You know, we can have a little better results. Like this jumping forward. And here's the thing: where the fuck is this moral rule book coming from? I keep wondering this all the time, and it's annoying the hell out of me at this point because here's the thing: morality is subjective as shit. There's no objective morality. There's no one universal good. That's not a thing. Hell, if you want to be honest, evil doesn't exist. It's not real. We keep making it up. So, like, holy shit. I don't know. Again, maybe I'm the weird one. That's cool. Again, it won't be the first time, won't be the last time that I'm on the outside. That seems to be a normal occurrence for this existence for this individual. But man, because it seems like, and here's my problem, because I think that's where a lot of the conflict comes back. Because it seems like I'm sitting here like, hey, I mean, it's probably because I'm trying to convey something to someone. I'm trying to communicate, and there's that wall of I can't have that point of view. Like normally I'm pretty good at grabbing different points of view and stuff like that. But that's only from like again, even when you do that, it's still within the basically the capacity of your own mind. Like you're not, yeah. There's no thing where you're just hopping into other people's existence. That's not what's happening. It's within the capacity of your own mind that you're doing that. So n- now you come like that's why it's really kind of see where it kind of fucks me up because I'm like, hey, I can't look at things that way. I'm trying to. Maybe at one point in life I did, but I no longer do. So then there becomes an issue when I'm trying to communicate with those who do. Because within that communication, I'm not able to sort of, I guess, translate or find the words that would, I guess, sort of give that meaning. Because again, it just goes down like simply like with freedom. You can be say, using that same term with someone else, but that doesn't mean that you have the same meanings or understandings or use of the word. You say freedom, you're talking about, hey, I just want to be left alone by the political system and the government, stuff like that, be left to do my own thing. I want to be left alone from the artificial constraints of other men. To, to the best degree possible for my self-interest. While other people, they're basically saying, hey, I need to enslave the shit out of everybody so I can not have to worry about being hungry or having to work again. Like to them, that's free. It's slaves. Having slaves is free. Like they have people who it's they by gunpoint or whatever mechanism that you're able to do, they're forced to provide every want and need for them. So they don't have to worry about providing for themselves or doing any of those things because I have to be hungry, so I'm not free. Because again, essentially, they want to be free from nature, which you can't do. So, yeah, it's again like all right. So just to put a little, it's just like the whole thing of like they want to be free from pain. Well, you have to work, you have to exist, you have to do something, you have to exert your body, so that's not possible. So they're not living in reality. Which I didn't realize it was a thing where people have an issue with abandoning their ideals when they don't fucking work. You can't change reality. Too many fucking cartoons or something, or I don't know. Maybe it's in the water. They drank themselves retarded. That's just not how it works. So I don't know. I'm lost. I'm stuck. I don't know where I'm at in the generation of I don't know. Like they say Zoomers and all this other shit. I don't know what those terms mean. I don't think it's any. I don't
Victory
think
for
any
the
of it's
Blood
real.
Blades. Victory for Skyfall.
All right, that I forgot what that whole point was. That was about communicating certain things, but one of the other ones was I saw this video because it was shared in the Discord first, and then I saw a video Hammerhand had on it, which was no commentary. It was just a video. They're just sharing it. You know, every once in a while, there's like some video, some chick doing something with some dude. And I watched the video. They were at like a Red Lobster. I only know that because the fucking BT 1000 stated so. Which she did it, and it's supposed to be in a belittling way. Like I haven't been to Red Lobster since I was 15. It's like you're a single mother. Shut up. Nobody. And the thing I immediately pointed out because I could hear it when I was listening to it, and this dude. Now he was saying I don't want to pay for her kids' meals on the first date. So he wasn't saying not at all. He was saying on the first date. And right there, I could see the smugness and the arrogance because what she kind of was realizing was that she could pretty much get him to do it anyways. Like he wasn't saying no. He wasn't being assertively saying no, even though he was like, "Hey, don't put that on there. Don't do that." And it's like in his behavior, it's like, why don't you just leave? And you're saying it like you're actually gonna go on it. And so immediately in my mind, I'm like, this is hilarious. And then it made me think of a lot of how a lot of dudes are when it comes down to their approach to women. And this is where I find it's funny where they would get up in arms when you say, "Hey, women are giant children." Like you can't say that. That's terrible. Da, da, da. But then look how you're treating them though. In that moment, it's like you're bargaining with a kid you have no authority over. Like what the fuck are you doing? Say no, end the story, move on. But that's not what was happening, and we know why. It's just that simp ass shit. It's that pussy begging ass, low self esteem, no value having ass dude. They don't value themselves, and they're willing to just basically be what they're slaves, essentially they're servants. They're finding their chains and they're reinforcing them. And when their chains are broken and they're set free, they hate it, and they hate anyone who would even try to dare set them free. Them. So you know it is what it is, honestly. Again, like, to each their own.
Their death is
I'd
our
never
only option.
stop you from. I mean, you want to enslave yourself? Cool. Just please don't try to bring me with you. That's the type of shit I get tired of. Like that misery loves company, crabs in a bucket shit. Just come on, man. We ain't got to do all that. You know what I mean? You can go to hell by yourself. I mean, we're all gonna
Whatever
die.
the angel requires.
That's just the truth. Nobody's making it out of this alive. But I think essentially one of the things
Always
that
ready.
is normally looked at is
Always
like, hey,
ready
I
to
just want
hunt.
to see if I can get sort of like the most out of this, the most out of
Fear
this
numbers.
meat
They
suit, this
will not
existence I
prevail
have
above us.
before it's all over. You know what I
Ready
mean?
to strike. Forward.
And you just hope that you just do your best and you see what you can get, see what you can pull off.
We fight and we die for the Imperium. For the Emperor.
Woo! And there's nothing wrong with that.
Death to the Xenos swarm. Moving.
Yeah, back to the. I don't know. I don't have like a list of hard hitting points. This is just off my memory,
We're
off of
the
when I saw
sons
that
of
video, and like,
Zacharias.
huh. I can tell by the tone of his voice and the selection of words he's using that honestly, again, it comes to the
Bloodlines
point
war
where it's like,
brethren.
huh, it's kind of hard for me to feel bad for this person because I feel like they're inviting all this shit on themselves. Like, I'm gonna assume he's not that young of a dude, and it's like
I
none of this
know
shit
your
is new, and you
instinct.
know it. So at that point, through the reaction and everything,
More targets are coming.
there's no sympathy for the
Cavalry
frustrations.
reascending.
Because again, you're essentially inviting this shit on yourself by putting yourself in these situations constantly with these type of people, with this mindset where, again, if someone's sitting there like they're gonna, because like they're basically essentially asserting some authority where they have none. You got to ask them where are they getting that authority, where are they getting this air of arrogance, where is it coming from, and most likely, in a lot of those situations, what I find is like the dude is giving it to
The
them.
aid is
That's
welcome.
what's happening.
I do not wish
They
to
gave
lose
them
the
that. They
aid to the
understood they
bodies
got
of.
that authority from them because in that sense they have leverage because he wants something that they have and he's willing to do anything to get it. And all they have to do is just essentially show some form of disapproval and they'll get them to change whatever tune they're singing. Which it is what it is. But also just don't be looking for people to, I don't know, have sympathy or some weird shit for you because they're not going to.
They will fear
Like
to tread
the truth is,
close.
I don't know. This is weird. Which you know what sucked? There used to be a channel called MGTOW 101, and it was just a PUA Australian dude, like just trying to get money from people and shit. And you would think it'd be like teaching some real like some fundamentalism and some shit like that. Just like, hey, here's how this shit works. Egalitarianism and self-interest, and this is how people actually look at it. Yeah, men have an out-group preference and women have an in-group preference. So everybody prefers women. Like, shit like that. Like, what do they call that? Like the angel effect, where it's like women are good and shit, like no matter what. Well, that's how people are, though.
More
People
targets
give
are
passes
coming.
to people they like, especially if they want something from them. Most definitely, they get a pass. They get preferential treatment, and if they have
I am
leverage
the
or a
son
higher
of
position, then they get
Zacharias.
deferred to. Essentially, where that's why it's pointed out that a lot of them are basically elevating them to a superior position over them and enslaving themselves to them. Which is again, the situation is a choice a lot of times. So not to be mistaken for if you basically the government is enforcing on the woman's behalf to basically for you to be a slave, that's different. Like at that point, yeah, you went into the initial arrangement with an understanding of basically the cost. And a third party came in and changed it because as far as they're concerned, that wasn't they don't consider that agreement allowable. Like it's not acceptable. It's not going to happen. And so they alter it, and then now you're just stuck. There's nothing you can do because they'll just lock. They'll basically assert their dominance on you. They'll beat your ass. They'll kill you. Take all your money. Well, they're going to take all your money anyway. That's going to happen. And there's nothing much you can do about that shit. Now, like some dudes, they just straight up bounce. Like they've got the means and they've got the ability to where they just leave the fucking country. And I'm like, yeah, more power to you. Do it. Because at a certain point, you don't owe anybody shit. You don't owe a fucking soul. And especially people who are willingly, happily, merrily enslaving the shit out of you, selling you up river. And I like how people will try to use some moral justifications or whatever they want. Like earlier, like the video that I was referencing earlier, the statement was made that he was an hour late. So she had to wait an hour and a half or something like that. and so that's why he has to buy our kids. It's like one that's the most flimsiest shit. You should have just left. Should have just left. Cause I'll be damned if I show up somewhere and at a restaurant in an hour and a half. What the fuck am you be lucky if I wait 20 minutes. Hour and a half? Are you crazy as shit? So, but that doesn't entitle you to just rob me. Cause here again, if I didn't agree on this, and now you're basically using, I don't even know what type of force you would say they were using at that point. Because basically the waitress was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it anyways," and it's like, oh god damn, fucking BT 1000s. At that point, so it's like you're robbing me. It's like one, dude, go to the manager or whoever the fucking owner or whoever is like, hey, this shit is not about to happen here. This is not going down. Pay for whatever you gotta pay for. It's like, hey, you have a good life. Fuck that. But that should be a precursor. That should clearly tell you what's up next. Like if that, but again, that's why the point where it's like, huh, you kind of realize, like, yeah, I kind of see what type of decisions you're gonna be making in life, and that you've probably been making all the way up to this point. Kind of just told on yourself. Oh damn, let me at least try to finish. Move the game along, man. What are you doing? We didn't come here for your fucking banter or bullshit. This ain't even banter. It's monologuing. What is he rambling about? I swear there's some ones that come from over here, so keep them there.
They shall not pass.
How is that? I guess that counts in range. It's like, yep, we can see him. So just shoot the dirt. But yeah, so that was, I don't know. I thought that was interesting to just watch that, just to be just quickly reminded. Like, holy shit, yeah, that is a thing going on. I forgot to remember the mindsets of motherfuckers and all that. Again, because there's one point where the guy is asking other people, and it's like, you clearly don't know what's going on here. You don't understand. That's why, like, a lot of guys find out you can't talk to anybody. Like, it's like you can. Hopefully, you can find some people you can talk to about shit, but a lot of stuff you don't get to talk to people about that. You kind of just gotta let that go. And you real like I started learning like I don't know if you know this, I'm kind of black, so a lot of that shit they talk about like the matriarchy and all that shit. It's not wrong.
We are the walls. We are the guns.
Why is there?
The blood of Sanguinius flows in my veins.
On my honor.
So as far as I'm trying to remember
They
exactly
will
where I
fear
was hearing
to
this
tread
at,
close.
but a lot of the speech you get would be pretty fucking belittling, and essentially it was supposed to just cut you down at whatever opportunity and chance. That basically was just the whole point of it. And one of the things was cut down your self-esteem
Under fire.
pretty heavily. Like you notice that shit, and that's why I kind of notice a lot of dudes their behavior like that and the way they talk and shit, and you kind of realize pretty fast like they've only been around and communicated with women. They haven't been around any actual masculine dudes. They've been around like house dudes, trained, domesticated men, but that's about it. And so you can realize that when they communicate, they're not really trying to convey
Heavy
a good
fire
understanding,
support.
information. You know what I mean? Like it's more emotional, snarky bullshit. Like one of their main focuses, would,
Your
of course, is
orders.
going to be like gossip, other people, woman shit. Instead of talking about ideas,
I await their
and
mistake.
it basically has to be extremely shallow. Now I can understand being shallow with people that you're not really too familiar with, because again, people have a one you don't know them, and people are pretty sensitive about things they disagree with. They really don't like hearing that shit. Like when I say really, they really don't like hearing that shit. Like, yeah, that's one of the things that takes some time, but I know a person is capable of letting it go. Is the idea that a lot of people are tolerant, open minded. That is not fucking true at all. Which I think it's funny. You'll see people try to weed someone out.
Frontline squad ready.
What they'll do is they'll put on the mask of tolerant, open minded to get you to sort of
Look
speak
past their
freely. They want to get you
games.
comfortable, sort of, I guess, gain your trust. So you put your guard down, and it's only so they can pretty much just sort of suss you out. That's about it.
There can only be victory.
Well, they get in rage.
My vengeance will be final.
What? All right, there we go. Fucking can't stand those goddamn things.
Your orders.
That's everybody. Yep, the same shit I just talked shit about the computer doing, I just did myself. So let's go ahead and end turn with some dignity.
Overwatch.
Woo! Which I mean, it doesn't mean that you have to stop socializing. It's mean that you have to be a little bit more tactful about socializing. And one of the things that I've gotten accustomed to, and I don't really give a shit, is because people they don't want. So it's like, and especially in the workplace for me. As far as I go in the communication workplace, it's just workplace shit. It's gonna be work related, and days are over of the days where I would be just open to talking because someone tries to warm up the room with, "Fuck you." No, hell no. I'm not that damn dumb. So again, and they look at you, and here's the goal is the carrot on the stick. That's the reason why they play that shit. And you have to have somewhat of the awareness and just the awareness to understand, do you benefit, like basically to ask yourself a question, do you benefit from that shit or not? Is it going to cost you more than you're going to gain? And my answer is always one, I'm not so fucking stupid that I don't see how people see me. I can understand how I'm perceived, and I can understand people's reactions and actions to me. I know a couple of social interactions ain't gonna change shit on that. So let's not play that game. The whole game is to get me to submit and be your bitch. That's essentially what it is. Which is weird. This is where that human shit comes in, because it's like, all right, you already have this agreement where blasey blasey whatever, and so I assigned to that, and I basically, in a sense, submitted to that obligation and went along with that. But now you want more. You want more, but here's the kicker: you don't want to have to offer anything for it, so you want to manipulate that out. Now, why in the fuck would I go for it? That's not in my best interest. Now, you would have to basically, one, either I would have to delude myself, or you would have to essentially hint at the idea that it will benefit me more. Neither one of those are actually beneficial. Both of those, again, lead down some pretty bad paths. And I see that shit because, again, if you have eyes to see and ears to hear, eventually you catch on and you're like, oh, I don't want that for myself. I'd rather do something completely different. Now,
Death to the
people, again,
Xenos
they don't like that. So maybe, well, one thing I've learned is I keep a lot of my plans to myself. I don't benefit
They
on
shall
telling people
not
about a lot of shit.
pass.
I just know, one, I realized that shit when I was younger, how easy it would be for someone to try, they would try to sabotage or get in my way. And this is why the other day, so CS MGTOW, I don't know if a lot of people remember him. He was a vitamin C. That's not, okay, that was a doxing video they had, which was from his brother. His brother did that. Now, that should be, that's pretty fucked up, but then it also led me to remember a lot of things about my own family. And one of the reasons why it was easy for me to understand that family ain't shit. Blood doesn't mean a fucking thing. It'd be nice if it does. For some people in their lives, it does. But for others of us, it doesn't mean a goddamn thing. Like, we've experienced enough to know, like, oh shit, they'll do you the worst because you're an easy target. You're like, as far as they're concerned, they already have an in. They just have to use that and basically leverage their position to you, which is one thing that I've found highly goddamn annoying. Is someone using their position to you, the relationship to you, as leverage against you. And at that point, it's like, oh, I get it. You're a complete fucking liability, not a benefit. So fuck you. And this is why I find it's important to pinpoint where someone's trying to foster dependence and try to find ways away from that shit completely. So that's why there are certain things that again, if you don't have to do it, don't do it. Like, if you can stay out of debt, stay the fuck out of debt. There are people who I know that they're working some pretty, they doing some pretty horrendous shit because of the debt they've taken on, because of the decisions they did, because of that, because they thought they would lead to better outcomes, which again, they made the best decisions with the information they had at the time. I don't want them to kick their own ass or anything, but it's one of those things where, as the observer on the outside of that transaction, you need to look and say, "Hey, I need to find myself not in positions like that." And you might have to deal with some situations that aren't preferable, but at the same time, you realize the long-term costs are far less than if you had taken the path of the transaction you observed before and seeing their outcome, because you have to remember, so there's also other costs that we normally don't quantify, like stress, you know a lot of that shit, like a lot of the psychological tension that comes on when you're stuck in a situation where you have no control. So that, a lot of that depression and all those things. Now think about all the opportunities you're not able to pursue because you're locked into that position, because of, you took on that transaction and didn't realize how much other unseen cost there was to it that led you into to deal with a lot of shit you don't want to. And essentially, this is where the road to suicide starts opening up for a lot of individuals, because at that point you can't get out, and you start, like, especially if you're a dude, ain't nobody, like, you ain't sucking a dick and getting taken care of. That's not happening for you. So you can let that go. You have to find a way out of this yourself, or you have to find a way to make it manageable and tolerable for yourself, which is extremely difficult. So especially at the times that are happening now, you just, again, the only thing I can think is, like, a lot of times you start adapting. So it's one of those things where, like, I start identifying when I'm going through more of like a transitionary periods. It's where I'm realizing, hey, what I'm doing is not working, or it's not getting the results I want. I need to switch this up. I need to start analyzing and picking everything apart, doing inventory on my life, go ahead and look into my mind, seeing what's going on and what's up there, taking a real reflection on it to see what's going on. Where am I actually trying to head with this? What do I actually want? Did something change? Some piece of information that I have that I haven't really processed or acknowledged, that has made it so whatever I was doing in the past before that's not gonna. I just hey, I'm not feeling that now because I realize that the follow-on consequences are not what I want. They're just not gonna. It's not gonna pan out, and that takes time, and it also can be pretty painful because one things that we don't want to acknowledge is that things that we were after, things that we really like hoped for, and all that, that they're not possible because it can feel because sometimes we might wrap that up in a part of our existence and part of our identity. And once that's gone, it can feel like we ourselves are dying. It can feel like there's no possible future. There's no more good days because whatever that thing is that we were pinning all our hopes on is gone. But that's not true. That's not real at all. So it's like when if you were younger and you ever like, hold on, I'm gonna quit this game because I'm clearly not paying attention to it like at all. Was it? So if you've ever been when you're younger, like let's say you get you're with some chick or something, and you just like imagine your life with all this other stupid goofy shit, right? You're doing all that, and it's like all right, breaks up, all the other shit goes on, and then think about it. That person doesn't even exist as far as you're concerned now. Like this idea of that being your life and existence and all that isn't even real. Like it was a moment in time where that's the only thing you could see, but look how quickly it all went away. Look how quickly it was just gone, and that you went back to whatever the fuck you're on now, whatever that may be. It's just that when you get wrapped up in a lot of these things, a lot of these ideas, a lot of these visions for the future, or whatever the hell it may be, it's hard to realize that they're not real. They're just imaginations. So nothing in the future is actually real. It's only the present. The past is just memories. So basically, I'm trying to say is let that shit go. Don't take it too serious. You should never really get too attached to anything, even living. It's just one of those things where it sounds crazy when you hear it until after a while you finally get it when well you might it depends on you that you might just grasp it like hey I kind of get that shit now. I get it. Right. Right. All right. I haven't played Halo in a minute, but then that means it's probably gonna update. So I'll just play. I don't know, Dungeons and Dragons Borderlands. Oh, gotta wait for it to. Which I don't like. Telling me something super woke or something like that doesn't do anything. I generally don't care because I don't get attention to a lot of the game stories anyways. It don't mean much. It's like the movies. Don't pay attention to that shit. There's a lot of stuff I don't because there's no real benefit to it. Like one, I know that I'm not down with that shit. Just like there's a lot of things I'm learning as time goes on. That's like yeah, I'm just not down with that, man. I don't feel that. Not into that shit. So I just let it go. I find shit that I am into. Like it's straight up. I'm not even making it up. It's actually that simple. there's some things like I do have a philosophy. Certain things change. It depends. Now, I like how I can't remember exactly how Thomas Sowell. It's a well thought out, educated way that I'm not capable of putting it right now. And it was essentially that you understand that there's certain transactions, there's certain things that when you go in to sort of making a decision, like, I'm going to endeavor on that, I'm going to make this decision on this, that you're able to essentially reverse it. Not reverse it. It's not something that you're bound to. It's like an example, put it, it's like if I decided to, I'm like right now, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to go to the store. So I get up, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna walk. And so I get up, I walk out the door. Now, at that point, what is the cost of me changing my mind? Saying like, you know what? I don't need to go to the store. I've been eating too much bullshit lately anyways, and then just not doing it. Yeah, be nothing. Yeah, just do it. God damn. Oh, dude, what's the point of the special if you die in the special? But no, that's actually, it's something that oh yeah, because I'm referencing Part of Knowledge and Decision by Thomas Sowell. Extremely good book. I listen to an audiobook. I'm not going to memorize all of it, but it's good to just, I like listening to certain audiobooks, especially over and over again, because what'll happen is sometimes if you're thinking about something or you got something going on, there could be a part in the book that can help you work through that process. It'll help you work through those thoughts. And maybe help you with like a new perspective or something. Like sometimes we do this when we talk to other people. We sort of like want to hash things out. Maybe there's different ways to look at things we didn't think about, or maybe we don't know how to look at things the other way. We didn't have that information before, and then we get that, and we're able to make a decision differently than we normally would. So I think it's a good practice. You know, I found benefits from it. Maybe you won't. Other people have their other ways of seeking out information to help them on decisions, you know, to get a better outcome, you know, whatever that may be. So it's just, you know, whatever floats your boat, whatever works. But for the love of God, if you can, stay out of debt. Stay away from other shit. Just, you know, I'm not gonna tell you to do that shit. You know, you do whatever, but start understanding and learning the cost of a lot of shit. You're gonna make a decision to interact with these people. Understand that there's a lot of costs that aren't spoken to you. They're not conveyed. Instead, you find them out on the back end, and you need to understand that a lot of people aren't going to tell you this information because they see a benefit in it, or maybe, and this is something that, you know, it can become kind of hard to come to grips with. It's like, what? Nah, that they're so fucking delusional that in their minds, no, actually, it's a little bit more complicated. There's actually a couple schools of thinking. So some might not see it as an intolerable cost. To them, it actually might be beneficial. They might actually see that cost. Damn, I hate this. Know where you're only fucking grenade I have? Yep. I do got a rocket launcher though. Huh. Alright. That worked. Shit, I got what I was saying. But decision making, long-term cost. Oh yeah. So 'cause everybody's different. So there's not always going to be this one size fits or this is why and this is that. A lot of times it could be pretty hard to determine why. And so you'll find a lot of times if you just listen. Like again, don't cast people off as just evil and all that shit. Depending. And I say don't use the evil because when you throw the evil shit, that means you're not willing to learn from anyone. You're not going to learn from them, and it's not going to benefit you to even interact with them. As far as you're concerned, it's essentially I need to destroy them, and that's about as far as your thought process goes. And then you won't be able to look at things from a different point of view, and hence you probably won't be able to gain new information on things in life. And learning, from my point of view, as far as my philosophy goes, learning is one of the most beneficial things you can do. In fact, to me, learning makes life enjoyable and tolerable. Some of the moments where I feel the worst in life is where I feel like I'm not learning anything. Oh man, what is it, a boss fight? Let's do this. But that's just me though. For other people, there are different things. So I'm essentially just all about progress, improving, getting a little better. It doesn't have to be this huge jump. It could just be a small amount. And that's perfectly fine for me. Oh man, look at those graphics right there. Oh man. That's American hardware right there. Oh wait, is he fire? Get out. Shoot him with fire with credit for? Oh shit! No, whoa! Doing the opposite. Ah, that was a horrible idea. Wait, so then why don't I? Yeah, I should have I'm gonna kill him. Thanks for all of you. Such great help. Damn it. I don't remember which one I was doing. then which one is huh. Holy shit. Come on, man. There we go. Come on, dog. Woo! Yeah. Oh man. I don't know what the fuck that was. Why is Rose scoring? Oh. What the fuck was that? Oh, that. Yeah, I said the B word, god damn it. Back up. You know I am. Where the fuck is he going? Keep shooting him. He's nice. He doesn't have a bunch of moves. Ah, shit. Hold on, dog. Stop there, boys. Is that really a thing? as I go. Okay. I had to tag this out. Sure. What the fuck was that? Yeah, I saw some. It's funny. So that's why essentially after a while I kind of understand what you're doing, right? Kind of like And what happens is essentially I'll just be pointing out something simple, maybe like a thought or an observation I had on something, and I'll see the eyes roll and the body language just can't hold it in. Which eventually just like, dude, I don't. Again, if you want to be a dipshit and you just feel because the thing that really sets you to be retarded is when you stop learning. So you say, because again, you can't learn shit if you swear up and down you already know. Write someone off as dumb, evil, whatever the fuck. You're not going to listen to shit they say, and you'd be surprised about all the information. It is what it is. I've experienced that before. I've even myself done it and learned to stop doing that. Because when I sat back and actually just started fucking listening, like, holy shit, the amount of information I got from the person kind of like threw me back. Like, ah, damn, that's right. So again, fuck, who gives a fuck about the messenger? I care about the message. This is all these. It's one of those things to learn to let go. Like, if you think about it, there's so many people who you've met in life, and that's why I don't listen to it. You can't write people off. You can't do it. Yes, the fuck you can. You do it all the time. There's plenty of people you knew at one point, but then as time went on, you didn't know them anymore. Oh man, I gotta get rid of shit. Oh. What the fuck do I... That's the same one. What do I have? Why do I feel like they're all like the same shit? Does that one do that? Yeah, it does. it's one of those things where when you experience it, it sort of cements in you, and you start realizing the cost of some of that shit, and you don't really mind paying it because you know the benefits, the possible benefits. I mean, oh yeah, oh yeah. All right, so SMG. Mhm. But I don't know. I'm not telling anybody how you do things, whatever. I'm just kind of sharing my point of view on some shit and some things that have helped me. 'Cause, you know, sometimes it's the world's a lonely place. Let's be honest. So sometimes it's good if you can just pick up like a game guide or some shit. You know, maybe everything isn't useful. You might find some books where they're not long books, maybe they're like 700, 500 pages or something. I ended up not reading through the whole thing because these are like technical books. So I ended up reading through a good majority of them, essentially to get what I needed. And once I got what I needed, the book it served its purpose. There's nothing more for me to use it for. So I just went about my way. That was it. I don't know. Like these fucking exploding shotguns, they haven't really. You got me good with that one, I'll be honest. Yeah, I didn't see that shit coming. It's like, oh man, there's all these chests. Holy shit. Alright, I like that one. Yeah, I got to test my shotgun. Especially since I realized, especially like now, you're starting to realize that people who are actually saying shit, doing benefit, information that you can really use, and less and less. I don't care. Understand? I don't give a fuck. But when the pain steps up, when the pressure really ramps up, when things start getting worse, you need to really, really, really watch your back a lot more. You need to understand that in hostile environments, trust is something you don't give away easily, like at all. To live someone else damn sure skewer you. Skewer? Skew? They'll serve you up. I don't give a fuck what there might be a time when you have to work to extend a little bit of rent you don't really care to, which, you know, that happens in life a lot, but I would say you just work on finding a way to get yourself out of that situation. That should be remember to never take yourself too seriously. Like a lot of things, I hear these messages and shit, you know, pride, especially stroke the ego. And eventually what's going to happen is they lead to a lot of these they lead to a lot of these really bad things. Maybe because you think you shut the fuck up. Maybe because you're just like, oh, I'm dominant, that's my title, this, and all this shit, so there's no way I'm going to. That shit will get you fucked up. Like, we live in a really twisted time right now. There's a lot of bad habits that you can see. A lot of people practice daily. That once the environment changes just a bit, like, again, that shit will get you fucked up. There's certain neighborhoods you go in and you start displaying those behaviors. You're not making it out. So, again, if you're the type who normally wants to like fit in, you just pick up mannerisms from everybody and anybody around you, then it is. But I'd say, because I'm not saying it's wrong, well, all I'm saying is what you really want to do is you want to adapt to the environment. And just because the people who you're adapting to doesn't mean that's going to increase your chances of surviving. That you might really link up with some completely retarded dipshits who get you killed. I know, like right now, one of the big things is, you know, I need my group. I need my increased chances of survival. I need my, and yeah, I feel you. I feel you, dog. Damn it. But, I mean, don't let desperation make you, like, again, try not to make your decisions under, like, emotional duress, or whatever the fuck they call it. Motherfucker! Kidding me? So I'm gonna throw a grenade when I die. Bastards. It's Saturday night, isn't it? Woo! Pull the pin kill. There's plenty of people who get served up by quote-unquote friends. So let your friends get killed. Damn it. How? Motherfucker. Switch. that should be fine. Not the most accurate thing, but alright. Well, I was. So, one thing I do want to point out, and I'm probably gonna fuck it up, so I'm just gonna put it a different way. Is that it's good that it's so fucking strong for no goddamn reason. Now, hope isn't gonna save. So instead, make a plan. Fears, probably work on why you're afraid. God damn. What is that? Yeah, sounds about right. Out of ammo? Yeah, that sounds about right too. Oh, you bitch. How did he level? He's leveling up while he's fighting? Is this some shit? How the fuck? What? Alright, well, I think I did enough talking, plus I think I'm kind of dehydrated. It's working out a lot. I don't think I hydrated. Yeah, I kind of won't go to sleep on time. It's like, what, old man? It's like, yeah, motherfucker. It's good for your testosterone. Go to sleep at a decent time, have a good schedule, be organized, be fit. Always work on improving yourself, your health. Make sure you're working on your sanity too. You want to try to eat decent. And always have something to keep you busy. And I don't mean like busy work. I mean some shit that's actually fulfilling. Like I've got a few parts and some other stuff coming on for some projects that I plan on doing. And essentially what I'm trying to do is improve my skills to so it's one of those things where instead of focusing on directly one application of it, you will say, all right, what type of skills are these? Well, these are skills where you're organizing, you're basically you're saying here's my goal, and you're working towards building or designing something towards fulfilling that goal. Now you have a need, and so it's like, hey, I need something that should be able to do that in this situation. Here's the requirements. And so essentially you put your project together, and then boom, you want to be able to fulfill that, and you want to have the skills to be able to fulfill that in the way that's necessary for your outcome. And practicing that on in your own personal life is really essential. It's like the more organized and efficient you are, the better you get shit done. The more things you're able to accomplish, and especially on your own. Because for some of us, that's all there's going to be. Now, like, a lot of people think that's a sad thing. There's nothing sad about that. This is how life is. No, this again. I don't know where the fuck people get these weird messages that things have to be a certain way, or you have to do this, or like there's this some like this. I don't know. Being alone isn't. I'm not gonna say it's not a problem because that depends. I mean, there can be safety in numbers, but that depends too. I mean, I've been part of a family where they pretty much wanted to serve me up. They essentially wanted a slave, and that's just how it is. You know how the matriarchy is. Motherfuckers that shoot at you, turn on you, call the cops on you, do whatever. They'll throw you under the bus. They don't give a fuck. And so essentially, being around people in that situation, you're like, oh shit, I'm better off by myself, away from these motherfuckers. And then you start realizing things and tactics people use in their cowardice to try to get it so you submit and bow to them, so you make yourself an easier target for them. And then with understanding that, eventually you start adapting. Now, when you get out of that environment, people look at you kind of funny, but fuck them. Because essentially, what eventually what pisses them off is that when they want to try to do some of these little manipulative tactics to you, you essentially you're already hip to it. You already know. Nobody likes that shit. People don't like strong people. So people like to admire strong people. They don't like strong people though. They like it when they can wield you, but they don't like it when you're just around doing your own thing, and then they can't benefit. So even if they do benefit from you being around, they want to be able to manipulate you to basically to gain more benefit from you. So it's not enough to have a mutually beneficial arrangement. No, there has to be a manipulative arrangement where they're getting the most, and you not allowing that becomes an issue. Like I see a lot of guys, they're starting with the videos and everything. They're what was it they're pointing at? Well, they're always pointing at some shit, but one that's what was the one I kept seeing? It's probably gonna come to mind some other day for some reason. But yeah, a lot of times it's over they talk about the arrangement between men and women and all that shit. And if you pay attention to what somebody's saying, honestly, and you analyze, you'll go insane a lot of times if you really take people for their word. A lot of times, um, that's why it'll take you to actually for like in a sense corner somebody and get them to say exactly what they mean. And essentially, you have to let them just keep talking. So instead of just listening to them so you can reply back, listen to them to understand. I know that just sounded like some bullshit, but what I'm saying is pay attention to what they're actually saying. Because a lot of people aren't direct, especially when someone's trying to manipulate you. They're indirect as shit. It's always gonna be some convoluted bullshit that essentially doesn't make sense on its face. That's when you need to say, all right, cool. I need to fuck what they said their goal is. Let me a little analyze here because your goal can't be X if you're going about this method. That type of shit. But I don't know. We can have those talks for a different day. I'm gonna actually try to get some rest and be healthy so that way next weekend I can probably do one. I'll be earlier. I'll be early so that way it can actually be pretty decent so it can have little time. And I'm not gonna start off with the other game. That one, I forgot how fucking slow and long that one takes. It's like holy shit. But I don't know. You motherfuckers